Good morning everybody and welcome back to another video where today we are going to be doing what we always do around this time of year, and that is talking about summer sets. I've been putting off this video for so long because I wanted to talk about the big hitter of the summer for me, which of course is going to be the recently revealed Barra. So now that that's finally out, I can finally talk to you guys about the set. So we're going to do what we always do, and I'm going to talk about my favourite sets from this release wave, all the way going back to March through to June, as well as if there's anything else that I think is underrated and just my general thoughts. And there'll be a couple of recommendations for potential parts for your LEGO Zelda MOCs as well as we go throughout this. But I'm a fan of the hobby and I want to get talking, so let's get started and jump in to talking about my new favourite set from 2024. Well, I'm sure many of you guessed that this was the set I was talking about, and this is of course the new LEGO Lord of the Rings 1033 Barra. I have been waiting for this set since the leak from last year, and of course we were always hoping that they were doing Rivendell. So what are my thoughts? Let's start off the video strong. I like Rivendell more, I think slightly. Just a little bit. I think the figure selection is stronger there. It's utterly beautiful. It's something we've never seen before. This very much is an evolution of the Tower of Isengard, or Thank, but it is better than that set, admittedly. Now, I do have many thoughts. So, it's generally imposing, it looks great, but something was throwing me, and I think it looks perfect from these lower angles, but when you actually realise it and you put it next to this guy that looks very serious, that tower is too stumpy. And the fact that they acknowledge this as well, they physically say and suggest those fans with 2 copies can make an even taller tower. Absolutely not. No one is buying 2 of these. Absolutely not. No. Think about the wasted parts, especially considering it doesn't need to be that much taller. We're talking maybe like 6, 7, 8, 9 bricks of height, maybe maximum. So like I'll be placing a bricklink order, I'm sure, but I'm thinking just like there's these little window sections, just a third one of those probably would have done it. But the fact that they had the audacity to suggest that is genuinely, I often talk on this channel about the black gate set and how it was really weird that they marketed that you should buy 2 black gates to have an even bigger gate when the gate already was a full gate. This is the same thing. What on earth are they looking at? Anyway, I want to talk about my favourite part, and that is of course the top of the tower with the eye, because not only did they manage to capture it incredibly, but they made this gorgeous use of dark brown, dark orange, and I think there's even a bit of reddish brown in there as well to simulate the warmth coming off the eye, and it's so spectacular, especially from a distance. I didn't even need there to be a light brick. I don't even know what the light brick is going to do, but it's incredible. It looks like the interior has a little bit more to offer than I thought when I first saw the leaked images. There's lots of these cute little details like spiders in the wall, which obviously is a reference to Shelob. We've got this sticker with the 3 elvish rings on it, again in the wall. Again, I don't know why, but that looks great. I like the bottom 2 floors. The Orc kitchen was to be expected, and I think that's fun considering we never get like a Cirith Ungol or anything. And I think the bottom room is great with that lava pit with the thing. There's a mechanism to open the doors by Shaw, and the armory as well. There's clearly some sort of Orc helmet pack going on, so there's like 3 or 4 different types of helmet from what I can see. And of course it's all modular as well, but the outside is definitely the still here. I know people wanted the whole tower, but that would have been silly. The throne room also looks great. It's a little simplistic, but boy am I glad we're getting those banners, and I do really love the fact that the throne opens up to reveal the Palantir inside, which is very cool. It's a little weird why those 4x4 plates are on the side. And then you get the tower section, where the interior definitely feels a little weak. I mean, it did in the original set as well, but we're getting less rooms, and they're just very tall. We've got, this is a library setup. It's really hard to see. Where there's some writing and stuff. Oh, the Mithril's there again, same sticker. And then there's this library, which I assume as a reference. I'll wait for reviews to tell me what on earth's going on there. I can't tell. But the eye looks incredible. Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. I like how they're like plenty of features included. They don't mention anything on the ground floor, instead just opting for the thing. And I also really like that this side build with Frodo, Sam and Gollum is included as well. That's really cute. And of course this goes perfectly with the promo as well, with the Fell Beast. It's just amazing. The Fell Beast is great. I am salty, no Witch King. This was the time to include him, especially when we look at this figure lineup. Okay, let's get the big one out of the way. Mouth of Sauron. What is he doing here? Why? he has less screen time. He's almost exclusively in the extended editions, and everyone knows the Witch King or wants the Witch King more, and the Witch King can be exclusive. Because now, what other opportunities do we have to get Witch King? You've got £20 set where it's just the repeat of the Fell Beast, but with Eowyn, Merry, and the Witch King there, and Theoden or whatever, and you do that scene. Okay, that would be incredibly cool. I mean, that's the dream, but more realistically, it's going to be what, £500 Minas Tirith, where they reuse the same Fell Beast and give us a Witch King, maybe, unless they choose to give you a Cave Troll. But anyway, I just want a Witch King because I have a Mouth of Sauron, and the Mouth of Sauron basically didn't need an upgrade. He looks almost identical, and he's exclusive to the Extended Edition. Anyway, other figures. Frodo and Sam are reuses, this is to be expected. I could have done with some dust on their torsos. I don't think that would have harmed anyone. And the new orcs look great. I am thrilled that we got Gothmog. I wasn't expecting him, so great to see him here. He was another character for the video games, which we knew we wanted. New orc helmet looks great. I know they aren't Isengard orcs, but this new shield mold and having the sword back is great. The new torsos are really, really varied. I'm a little torn on the face prints. They look a little zombie-like for me. I think I would have preferred them sticking with more of the classic things, but then again, I'm very, very nostalgic for those forms. And to be honest, I think I can get used to the orcs. The bigger offender to me is Gollum. I preferred the old Gollum 100%. I'm sure this one will grow on me, but I think they've gone too far in making him creepy and following the consistencies. What they did in 2012, 2013 and in the Hobbit sets was amazing. And yes, there is nostalgia talking here, but I think I would have preferred that version of him here. And then, of course, the big daddy, Sauron. Oh, long have we waited. Well, it looks incredible. It looks custom, which is a little scary actually. But the face looks fantastic. The mace is exactly what we would have expected. He's got this cool cape as well. He's the standout by sure. He is the reason to get the set. Although I have to say, no, he's incredible. I just wish I had a Witch King. As I said, Fell Beast looks great. Again, why? What is it with these creatures not having eyes? It's very confusing to me. But yeah, no, this one's definitely given me more to think about than the Rivendell set did. I worry that the building experience here is going to be a little bit basic. It's 5,000 pots, so it's going to still be a nice, chunky 2-day build, I think. Probably it could make it longer, but 2-day build. And by the way, that side box art looks gorgeous too. As I said, when you look up at this tower, it looks so much more impressive. It's 90 centimeters tall as well. It's only when you put it in this house and it's like, that looks stumpy. Not very, very much. As I said, it only needs a little bit of an adjustment. Yeah, it looks incredible. I worry that the build might be a little bit simple. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm buying this day one. I mean, I've got the money saved. Why not? It looks great. Interior, maybe could have wished for more, but I don't know really what I was expecting. It's pretty much hit every mark I wanted it to. It's just the figures that I feel... figures and the height, I think, are my 2 points here. But yeah, no, they've convinced me. All they had to do is provide a Fell Beast and I'll buy this day one. But I love it. It's great. Rivendell's better because it's beautiful, but this is truly the villain counterpart, and I cannot wait to put this next to the Tower of Orthanc as well. What an incredible lineup that's going to be. It's going to be amazing. Gothmog was a really good inclusion. I'm glad he's here. I will not stop souring over the Mouth of Sauron, though. He should absolutely not have been here. Someone's going to justify him really hard to me when stuff continues, when we start to see like the reviews and things. But I'm sure there's more secret string cover. I'm sure it is beautifully packaged as well. And I'm sure the techniques aren't too basic. It's just I'm seeing a lot of stacking, which, to be fair, stacking is fun. I'm loving the colour gradients, especially down at the bottom and all the lava too. That's fantastic. Yellow is an interesting choice for the lava, I will say. But yeah, the bottom looks nice and complex. It's just when you look at these shots of the interior and you just see, oh, it is just all studs up all the way around. It's just two thick walls in semicircles. It just is the evil Disney castle, and to be honest, I love it for that. But I do wonder what that build's going to be like. Not that there's anything wrong with the simple build, as I said, but like even the top of the tower, I looked at that teaser image and I saw all of this layering and these beautiful techniques. And yeah, okay, it's just swords, but it just seems to be like a basic rocket rover tower like construct. But maybe I'm wrong. There is, of course, this giant like rockwork trend, but it doesn't have any of these beautiful angles and stuff like Gryffindor did. But that doesn't matter because the eye is so good. It's all so good. Oh, wow. Okay, let's talk about the rest of the Lego lineup. But this is the best. This doesn't get better than this. Okay, now that we have that one out of the way, let's jump back in time just a bit to where we finished off the last one of these back in January, talking about the March Star Wars set. So now that we have images for boarding the Tantive 4, I can confidently say that I do indeed love it. I'm not huge. I don't know who Fives is. I've not watched the Clone Wars. I know I'm probably going to get lynched for that. But the boarding the Tantive scene, particularly in Rogue One, but also the beginning of Episode 4, is a fantastic moment, and it is still endlessly funny to me that we have this basically like mass murder, like Empire scene now on the official set, and I will definitely be picking up this thing. I think it came in a little bit pricey for what it is. However, the part count's pretty solid and the minifigure count is, so I guess it's just that Star Wars tax coming through. But I actually really like the build. Yeah, it's a little simple, but it has that playset charm that I love, and I'd love to see if I can do anything with this. But also figure-wise, I don't have a Darth Vader yet, although I'm hopefully going to pick up the Palpatine's throne room soon, so that doesn't really matter. But I really like the functions here with the changing doors and stuff, and it's a really great set. And then an anniversary figure doesn't hurt at all. I also want to briefly touch on the Starship collection as well. I don't intend to be buying any of them. One thing I've really loved seeing with these sets is the way that they display on shelves. Is I think very similar to the helmets, they have such good shelf abilities. Specifically, if you compound them and put them each in like one container of like a box shelf and then stack them up, I think they can look really stunning. And I kind of want to look into other themes and see if there's something else that fills that same void that I can look to, because I really love how these guys display. Like, put your scales aside or whatever, I think they're fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this wave continues. A bit like Speed Champions. It feels like the nerd version of Speed Champions. Not that not loving cars isn't nerdy or anything, but like I really like what was going on there. Let's keep things moving though. I want to talk about the talking sorting hat, mostly because they brought back these sound bricks after such a long time. It was really, really fascinating to see. Obviously, this was another survey leak set, which I think is pretty cool. But I really like how much function they were able to pack into it. Not something I'd ever really intend on buying, but I do think it's cool, and I'm really curious to see what they're going to do more with the sound brick now that we have this and the vintage radio, which I guess while we're talking about it, I'll just do that one out of order and talk about now. I really love the concept. I don't particularly love the execution. I think from certain angles it looks great, and the color scheme was a great choice. Don't think anyone was asking for this, but I don't think that makes it a bad thing either. I particularly do love the sound bites. I think that's really cute and fun. Again, I'm really hoping to do more with the sound brick. Could we potentially be seeing one in the Decatry? Who knows? That would be interesting. But let's keep going. Of course, we have a quick promotional set, that being in the Pirate Splash Battle. It's always great to see more of these Legoland sets turn these iconic rides into to little things. I wish we were seeing more for Disney parks, of course, but this is fantastic and another great addition to the lineup. Gallard was still getting these. No one seems to talk about them, but an underrated pick, I think, for sure. As we go forward in time, we come through to the Animal Crossing releases, I believe, which of course launched in April, March. I can't remember. I think it was March 1st this time. And I've talked about these a little bit before, but I haven't actually really mentioned them. I actually think this line is really, really strong. Yes, I don't love that it exists, full stop, but I think particularly Bunny's Outdoor Activities, Nook's Crannies, and Rosie's House and Isabel's House Visit are really, really strong sets. I actually really love the modularity and the way it just feels like you're playing the game. They did a really good job at translating a lot of these iconic features, specifically Bunny's Outdoor Adventure, the one I actually own. The pole vaulting feature is fantastic. The little rocks underneath the cliffs with the fossils, and that tree feature is just genius. It's incredible. And the houses look great. They look straight out of the games. Nook's Cranny and Rosie's House I'll definitely be picking up at some point, but I'm waiting for a decent sale for that. I don't really want to pay full price. But I really love how they were able to translate it, and the modularity of the island is so clever, and I really think it works really, really well. The Wolf Mask Shadow Dojo from Ninjago is another thing that I think deserves a quick mention, mostly just because of the colour scheme. I really like what we're going with the blacks, dark blues, and that magenta. It really, really pops. Always great to see more transparent rods being used to like symbolise fighting arenas. I think it's something quite interesting that is very, very cool. And then of course you've actually got this temple, which of course looks amazing. It's giving Garmadon, Sons of Garmadon Resurrection Temple to me. That looks really cool. The Wolf Masks Warriors are looking great this season as well, and I particularly love that print of the Blood Moon. It's a shame it's got like a black circle in it, or else that would again be perfect for Zelda, but forgetting about that, it's still a fantastic set. We did also have a GPWP back in March that included the Baby Spaceman, and this one just made me mad because while I love the miniature versions of the spaceships, why did they classify the face prints? Why didn't they use the Space Babies? I don't think anyone would have cared if it wasn't classic figures and was instead just the Space Babies. It's still baffling to me why they made that choice. Anyway, we'll move on from that. I wasn't very, very happy. Should just quickly mention, did love the techniques on Prey on the Batman the Animated Series, but of course I have no nostalgia attached to that product, so great to see for the fans that want it, but otherwise I'm not too keen either way. We also had the Snow Whites and Seven Dwarfs Cottage, which looked fantastic. Great to see more dwarfs, face prints, and so on. They did a really, really good job here. I love how bright and colourful it pops, specifically compared to a lot of the fan submissions and the leaked version as well. I think this was definitely a step up. There were actually quite a few significant changes, which shows you how leaks are wrong and we shouldn't necessarily trust them. But more on that as we go through the actual summer sets that I want to talk about today. But we've got to get through these guys first. I want to share my thoughts on these. But yeah, looks fantastic. Really, really love how colourful it looks. Of course, there is obviously the controversy with this one that they were stealing the fan design. It's just not true. You know, people can work on same things at once. Yes, it's a bit weird that they rejected it so many times and then just decided to make their own, but maybe Disney was being picky. I don't know. I don't really care. It exists here. It's glad. I hope the fan designer feels okay about it. But I think this fan designer in particular is doing all right with the Brooklyn Designer Program. So that's that. We also had the Kingfisher from Icons in February, and I think I didn't talk about this one because of the timing of its reveal, but it does look fantastic. The eye is a little bit weird to me. I think I don't know if it's slightly too high potentially, which is odd, but whatever. Yeah, it looks great. Interested to see more from the Fauna collection after we got those ideas birds so many years ago, and it's clear to see how far the system has changed in that time, which again, yeah, it makes sense. We also have the D&D set, which of course everyone knows is pretty great. Lots of details going on here, love letter to the theme, and of course those figure parts. I think I'll save my full thoughts on that one for when we get the reveal of the CMF properly in September, because I feel like that's what I'm more interested from there. We're also going to skip talking about the medieval town square because you guys have seen the video I've made on that before, so let's keep moving at a rapid pace towards the summer as we approach our May 1st releases, which include the Inside Out 2 Mood Cubes. Now I'm not the only one that I was pretty looking forward to a set like this. However, I think, yeah, I don't mind the mini dozo. I just would have wanted the full cast. Obviously, they're promoting a new movie, so they needed to include the new characters, but I would have liked to have seen Angus Adams and Fear, and of course Disgust as well. But it's a little shame that we got this. Like, I would have taken them in mini doll form. Like, I wouldn't have been happy about it. Like, I don't hate the mini dolls. I do really love them, but I just would have preferred the figures. I know the proportions work better. Like, it's smart, but just not giving us the main cast is like, it's kind of a little. I don't feel it. But we also did get some great reveals this month, and this was the Alien Pack and Alien Planet Habitat. These two sets are so fun. They've got that classic charm to them, but while still fitting in this space sub-theme. Obviously, for people that didn't have them, getting the white space suit and then later the orange one in the dino was also a great idea. I'm glad that that's an option for people now. But to me, these little goofy creature builds and the creativity that they bring, they remind me of Mixels, and they're so fun, and there's so many of them across the two sets. Like, I've had to stop myself buying these twice because, like, I don't really need them, but they have such cute energy that I think they're worth a mention. Very, very sweet sets that I was surprised by. No one really expected these to come out, so it was cool. We also had the Space Science Lab, which is in addition to the space theme from January, which I believe I did a bit of a disservice to, really. A lot of those sets have grown on me. Specifically, there's this I don't remember what it's called, like an off-road vehicle. It's like 6 wheels. It's got this cargo crane on the back. A little expensive for what it is, in my opinion. It doesn't really pack that value punch for me, but it's a really sizable vehicle that has a really interesting shaping to it that I think I should have given more credit. I want to try and pick up now, I think. But we also have the Space Science Lab here, which is the set I actually want to talk about because it's just this little domed habitat, and yeah, the inside can be a little bit empty, but that low price point and the cute little alien guy kind of make up for it. Like, it's actually a really, really sweet set. I think it does a better job at being a space base that's affordable than the big one, and very, very cute. But we also had the water park, which was just another one of these fairground but not quite sets, just under the generic miscellaneous banner. Another one, they've done this better before, and I like the Pirate Park from last year more, but still a fun set. We then had, of course, the May 4th releases. The only two I really want to talk about here are the Droideka and the TIE Interceptor. So starting with the Droideka, this is definitely a set on my radar that I want to pick up. I think this is fantastic. I told myself I wouldn't really be interested unless it could fold up, and I don't really mind the parts forming nature of it. The fact that it can go up into the ball is cool. I just think it's been deserving of a large creature scale build for a while, and I feel like it hits the level of quality that the Pro Droid did for me. So while I don't necessarily like have a specific love for Droidekas, I think that they've done a good job. The figure scale one has been the site of some controversy. I think it's about as good as you can get with official techniques, but there are definitely much better custom ones. As I said, the fact that this can roll up in the ball is fantastic. Again, on sale, this one will be one that I end up picking up. Unlike the TIE Interceptor, I appreciate what they were doing here, and I think it's really great that we were revisiting those first two UCS sets, and the TIE Interceptor in particular got an update. I actually really do love how rounded it is. However, I definitely see people's problems with the shoulder straps. I don't think it bothers me because I'm kind of fine with having gaps on sets. So I think this is actually a really solid build, but the UCS ties scare me because of the fact that the wings are just mirrored. But it's not a bad thing, it's necessary to the ship, but I think I'll just stick with my playscale versions as they are more than enough for me. We also had the Forest Animals Red Fox, which had just a beautiful set of alternate builds. They're just incredible. Like, I wish I cared about the actual animals or wanted to have them, because just the fox as the main one is stunning, but to me it's the fact that it rebuilds into the owl and the red squirrels so well. Like, that squirrel's amazing, and the owl's level of detail with the furs looks beautiful. They've really been hitting out the park with these animals, or at least most of these animal sets. So that's always great to see, and this one deserves a lot more attention than it did. It kind of got swept under the rug because of its weird release. I don't know, maybe it got delayed or something. Perhaps that's the reason behind what happened here. We then have the Minion sets as well. The movies are fine. I'm not a fan of the third one. I think that they took a big dip in quality. The sets, though, don't really hit for me. I think that the brick-built Minions and Gru is probably the best one. I think Gru is cursed, and that's funny, which is, yeah, he's about as close as you get. I just don't understand why they chose to make that a set. I think the house has been pretty badly done. I think it's been chibified, which works, but it's been chibified in a way that doesn't make sense to me, and I think the interior is particularly lackluster for a set of this price. Like, if we had redirected the budget from the outside area into the house, I think it would have been a better idea. The Mega Minions, I just hate their entire concept in the movie as a whole, so I guess that's not a problem with the sets, but I'm just looking at the mold budget here, and I think that's actually insane how many new molds they created for this and how many prints. This theme got so much budget, or even if it didn't, they just used it really well, probably limiting recolors. The party bus is probably the best set outside of Gru, but yeah, not a fan of these. I preferred the Minions 4 sets, and I think those brick built Minions could have just had a re-release, and I don't think people would have complained. It would have been it was a fantastic set, that one. Okay, we're actually in the summer sets now. Let's talk about Dreams, because Dreams was firing on a fair few cylinders. The first one I want to talk about is the Neverwitch's Nightmare Raven. I think the Raven is okay, works well for a fantasy mid-range build, but to me the alternate build is what stands out here. The like Doom Blob mech with those Archangel wings is just so goofy and fun, and it has so much of that Lego villain charm that I love in Nexo Knights and themes like that. I want to talk about Nexo Knights. Nexo Knights was a cool theme. The curvature and stuff on like the Izzy's Dream Animals and Logan Mighty Panda was cool enough, I guess, but it didn't really interest me as much as I was expecting. Mateo and the Z-Blob Knight also had a lot of rounded edges that I thought was fun, and I'm enjoying this like negative energy characters and stuff, but didn't really attract me. The other one that really caught my attention though was, of course, everyone's attention grabber, which was Castle Nocturnia. This has such like Escher vibes to it. The fact that you can rotate it on its three sides is so cool. Reminds me of Labyrinth, of course, which we talked about in my Most Wanted sets video a while back. But yeah, looks pretty decent. I really love that this and Monkey Kid are just pushing what you can do with the system for stuff like this, with this like high range play sets. Like, it's completely out of kids' range, but I just love it. It's so colourful, and the fact that it can flip around is great. We also have the Milky Way art, which I think I'm more positive on than a lot of people. I really love the techniques, and I think from a distance this looks fantastic. Price to part rise, I think this one is particularly amazing, at least here in the UK, coming in at only 169, which is just amazing. Like, that's kind of a great part for what you're getting here. It's pretty big. I don't think it interests me as much as the other arts. I think I'm more a fan of like the abstract ones. Like, I had the exotic parrots I thought looked pretty cool, and I really loved the floral art from a couple of years ago. But I really loved the texture they were able to capture with this, and I think that they did it just about as well as they could for a set like that. We have Fireworks Celebrations, which is another cute promotional set that I want to talk about. I don't know whether I end up getting this or not, but I just love how small and simple it is. But you've got this really nice layered art effect where you've got the rocket launching off, the stickers in the background, and of course the brick-built fireworks making their return. Lots of fun. I'm not sure how usable this is, which is what holds me back. Like, I don't think I'd be able to convert it. It truly is just a display that you would put on a shelf, but I'm not sure you'd want to display this over other sets. So it's like, well, really, you're buying it for the parts to put this fireworks scene in like a city or a wider scene, and I'm just not sure that the scaling of that front foreground works particularly well. But then again, decent parts pack as well. The big set, of course, recently was the NASA Artemis Space Launch System. It is funny to me how this set is mostly just the tower. Like, don't get me wrong, it was the right choice to include the full launch system. I think we needed that in the space lineup. It's something different. It's an incredible build, but it is so much like the Eiffel Tower, but it doesn't have the same impressiveness as the Eiffel Tower. Like, it's very, very cool, and I think they've done a great job translating it to the medium. It's one of those sets that you look at and it's like, it's not even real. But I don't know, that build doesn't look good, and I've seen it wobble around and I'm like, it's a little iffy. I prefer the Saturn V. Putting the techniques and the amazing like work into the rocket instead of the tower is where my interest lies. And also, like, the first 11 bags are put into like this square cube base, which I know needs to be there for structural support, and it does look fantastic, but it just feels rough. I could never fully justify it, but again, very, very impressive. Skipping back over to Animal Crossing, we have the new sets for summer. We have Dodo Airlines and the KK Plaza. They look fine. KK's Plaza looks like a junior set to me, although I guess people will be happy with it. But neither of these particularly interest me in any level, and the figures aren't enough to increase the draw. Nook's Cranny gets that benefit from having Nook and a decent house build, but I just don't feel that way with these sets. But again, it's great to see the theme continuing to expand, and these two are up to the same level of par. I just prefer the Dodo one out of the two of them, and then, yeah, it's a little iffy. Okay. Mario set time. Again, I'm going to keep my thoughts brief here because I'm going to be re-ranking all the Mario sets. It's a video we did about 2 years ago, but I'm going to be re-ranking all of them from worst to first sooner or later on the channel. But the standouts here for me, Goomba's Playground. I love the fact that we're getting a Goomba stack as an intentional set, and the fact that you can pump them through the tree. There must be some feature there, so I'm excited to see that. Soda Jungle Maker set. I think is a great idea. Not too much here that draws me in besides the pink Shy Guy, because I have most of the other elements. But I love what they're doing. It makes a lot of sense for the system, and I'm glad that it exists. I think I just prefer the other maker sets more for their more generalistic approach, although this themed approach does work really well. We'll see in the ranking. I do like the colours here, just the interesting bits that I don't need to buy for it to be interesting to me. Now the big set, of course, you've already heard me talk about this on the community tab, is the Bowser Express train. They continue to knock it out of the park with these Bowser sets. I feel that this one, I'm thinking Dry Bowser's might be the... Now the original Bowser's Castle is very, very, very cool. It's probably my favourite of the Bowser sets, but is feeling not old but simplistic compared to the others. I think this is the weakest of the four sets because the airship is amazing, and so is Dry Bowser's Castle, although maybe this is better than Dry Bowser's Castle. I really love the engine, but I feel the other three cars maybe aren't there. I have to see what the price is on this one. I don't know if we have one yet. Coming in at 104, it's cheaper than it should be, but it's not as good of a deal as Dry Bowser's Castle, I think. So I'm going to see myself holding for a sale because I do love it. I think it's an amazing concept and the figures are so creative, but I don't think I'd want to buy it day one. Something's holding me back, although maybe that's just the amount of great sets that are coming out, or maybe I'm becoming price conscious. And then I'm going to not talk about the adventure sets. We'll save that for my thoughts, but I'm not happy with how the new Digi-figures have turned out. I love that we're still sticking with the Digi-figure theme. I think that's really, really important, and I'm glad that they've stuck to their guns, and I'm glad that the starter courses have returned and been updated, but I don't think they look good. I think they've made them worse, so that's fun. I don't really have anything to say about Sonic other than the fact that the Tails Speed Sphere is just the same one we used for Yunobo, so I'm looking forward to picking up that part. And I will say that the Knuckles and Master Emerald Shrine is an amazing set as well. I think it's my first Sonic set that I think I actually like more than just, oh, that's cool, you know, like that. If in another world where if I was a Sonic fan, I would probably buy this one. I wish it did include the big emerald because it's a little dumb that you have to combine it with the one from the other Knuckles set with the mech that no one wants. So yeah, it's okay. And the egg deal still looks okay too. I'm going to skip over Speed Champions and move of our way to City, where we have the Downtown Street car and station. This was a little surprising because I didn't think we were in a train yet. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, it's another train. We just had a train like 2 years ago, which is weird because trains usually come out every 4 years. So, but I'm great. I really like seeing the streetcar come back, especially with the double station that you can combine or have on both sides of the track. That's fantastic. There's also a play feature where you can like extend a ramp to remove like the giant gaps. Figures it good. I prefer the train outfits from the 2022, so I kind of wish they just kept that. Do I wish it was like a streetcar without track? Probably, but it is really nice to see the tracks included here. Nice and spacious too. So really interesting. I just wasn't expecting it, so it took me by surprise in that regard. But it isn't majorly special. We also had the delivery truck, which we knew was coming, and I was pretty excited about. This one is pretty expensive as well, which is a little rough. This one still doesn't have like prices outside of the leaked ones, which of course I don't trust because leaks have been wrong so many times this year. But I really love how large this is. Again, I don't think I could pay full price for it, but I love what's going on here, and I definitely want it because as a fan of Lego, of course, you want the truck. And I think the yellow one is potentially more iconic, but this is definitely the better build, so I'm looking forward to seeing it. Again, do we even know how many pieces this has? No, we know nothing about this set, which is slightly concerning, I'll be honest. I am scared for this set because if this ends up being like 500 parts and like $89, then that's going to be insane. But it's okay, you know. I want it. Just again, it's another one that's set. That's what you'll notice this year. Is so many sets that are good, but should be on sale. We have the Coles Titan Dragon mech from Ninjago, which is about the only one that stands out. And there are a lot of mechs these days, and it's not a bad thing. Kids like mechs, and I am pleased that they all continue to be unique. But it's more and more becoming harder to remember each individual one. And to me, this does feel similar to the 2019 like Lloyd's Samurai mech from Secrets of the Forbidden Spinjitzu. And this is great. I particularly love the figure. I think that looks really cool. But again, that's the only real standout, at least in this batch. I know the Source Dragon is coming up, and I want to talk about the Source Dragon, but we'll get there in a second. I'm going by the order I've written these down in. I also want to mention the T-Rex from Creator 3-in-1. This is a great set for anyone that doesn't have the Jurassic Park gate from 2019. Now, I like movies and I love Jurassic Park, so I would prefer that dinosaur, which I own. So I have no reason to buy this, but it's really great to see that dinosaur basically ported to Creator with the alternate builds in a slightly different scale. I know this is slightly smaller, but I do wish the color scheme was slightly different from the Crocodile. I know that was like 2 years ago, but I don't know, it feels very Similar to Crocodile and T-Rex. But great set. I think this is fantastic. This exists. However, I don't need it because I have the 2019 one, and the 2019 one is bigger and cooler in a way. I'm glad that the Disney micros are still continuing with the mini Disney Sleeping Beauty's Castle, but please can we go back to different theme park rides? You did Haunted Mansion, give me It's a Small World and other ones. It's great that this finally exists. People have been wanting this for ages. I am not pleased that they ported the CMF figure over exactly. Could they have at least changed up like one thing from that instead of just giving us the same one? Like, I don't know, make up their mind. They need to be consistent. Are they doing minifigures or mini dolls? Because last year with the Heavy was a mess. This year they're going back to the figures, but now they've ported one from Disney 100, which I mean they already did with that series because Tiana, but like what was the point in putting them in the CMF if you're going to do this? Or what was the point in including this outfit? You hadn't a chance to do the exclusive outfit. Like, again, CMF figures can be ported, we should get over that, but it's weird that it happens so frequently now at this point. Like Tiana was in the Disney Castle, but the Disney Castle was expensive, so it made sense that she wasn't locked behind that set. But then why did we lock all the other princesses behind that set and put Aurora in two cheap sets? Like, what's going on there? Anyway, just a bit of a mess, but it worked out just fine. We have the traditional chess set as well. I am a chess enjoyer, I think, and this is beautifully crafted. This is a significant upgrade over everything, and it's cheaper too. I do wish that it had the storage compartments because this is just going to be a mess. But making great use of the 4x4 tiles to keep that park down and that price down. But I really love the look of this. It truly is beautiful what they've been able to sculpt there. Move into the Star Wars summer sets now, or at least some of them. We have the Paz Vizsla and Moff Gideon and the the Ambush on Mandalore battle. I like the Ambush on Mandalore, specifically the feature with the transparent rod. That's cool. That reminds me of stuff that should be included in battle packs more to make them feel like proper sets. However, this is just a pile of rocks. However, I don't mind. I think this is a better battle pack pack build than some of the other ones, and it interests me more. I probably still won't buy it, but I do love the Commandos. I haven't watched season 3, so I don't know. I also do like this like mid-scale playset build with the Paz Vizsla Moff Gideon battle. I think it's really fun to just have this gateway, or then again another violent scene that they've translated. So I really like the build. The price is not great, and I love the fact that it can combine to the battle pack. This is stuff that I wish we saw more of, so that was good. And then I don't really want to talk about the others, but the Luke Skywalker X-Wing mech is good. I'm glad it exists to go off against the others, although I wish we had the TIE Fighter mech as well, because I think that would be very, very silly. And then the Captain Rex Y-Wing Microfighter. It is unequivocally a good thing that this figure made its way into a cheap set, and that's all I'm saying on the matter. If you believe it should have stayed exclusive, fine, go ahead, but I fundamentally disagree. Jumping back to Disney, because we're all over the place, we have the Madrigal family house. This doesn't look like the house from the movie, which is slightly confusing to me. Great that we're seeing more of the cast, but the absence of Bruno is weird. I'm glad that the house has features to like do the weird windows and other things that the house is known for doing, but it's a little weird to me that the house doesn't look like the house. Like the first one looked like the house and it was smaller, so I felt like it was just going to be a big version of the house, like what they did with Elsa's Ice Castle a couple of years ago. And then of course we do have to talk about Maleficent's dragon form and Aurora's castle. Man, I hope the rumours are wrong and the other one isn't cancelled, because this dragon does look seriously cool. I do want it for Phantasmic, but I want to know if that other one's coming first. Like, originally I was willing to trust the rumours, but there's been so many of the leaks that have just been wrong this year. So maybe the big one's still coming. If the big one's coming, this immediately loses all importance to me. But this is good for kids, and I do like the brambles around the castle. But man, I hope we get the big one, because the big one was been so cool, and with the figures as well. But yeah, great that it exists. I'm glad that we finally got the dragon, but oh, it hurts. Yeah, it feels bad that it's not the one we were promised, but then again, they don't owe us anything, so that's that. Jumping back to Star Wars for a last minute, we also had the Imperial Star Destroyer. Yes, I know we're still missing some Star Wars sets. If you want to know my opinions, I'm hopefully anticipating the Darkside Falcon and Jedi Bob Starfighter. Not because I have a nostalgia for Jedi Bob, or I'm one of those people, but because I think the trailer for the animation looked really, really fun, and I'm really curious to see how they choose to celebrate 25 years. This could be my Falcon if they do it right, I think, because I'm curious to see what the techniques look like. The figure lineup sounds awesome. I'm sure it might disappoint, because a lot of the rumors have, but regardless. And I'm also interested in the 25th anniversary like celebration set that's coming out. It's supposed to be quite cheap, because that sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun in celebrating the history of the theme. And I am curious about the other playset that's lurking around that's supposed to have 9num in it as well. But as for one that I was also particularly curious in, this is one of the worst leaks of the year, the Imperial Star Destroyer. There was a time where this thing was supposed to be a Bespin playset, and then it was supposed to be a Death Star playset, and then it was supposed to be a Star Destroyer. And don't get me wrong, I was consistently hyped for all three of these. I was like, oh, Bespin, let's get another Bespin. I love Cloud City from 2018, and I missed out on that, and it makes me sad. So that would have been cool to see it at a smaller scale and see more like £100 playset sets for Star Wars, like Battle and Scarif and those small Death Star escape sets. So I was really hyped when they moved it to Death Star. I was like, great. And then add Cal Kestis on as well. Going to be a great figure line, all 12 figures, right? And then Star Destroyer, playset Star Destroyer for 12 figures. That's going to be awesome with the new techniques. And what we got is awesome, but it isn't as upgraded as I thought for a 10-year wait. It is good that it's back after a 10-year wait and is a very important ship. The interior feels a little more sparse than before. It feels like downgrade in that regard. And don't get me wrong, 7 figures plus the anniversary, including the anniversary, is fine. But if you're rumouring 10 and 12, of course we're going to be disappointed. So once again, another lesson to be learnt that this set, don't trust the leaks. Similar to the Retro Radio, which was a radio and then a gramophone and then a radio again. How many times did it take it to get it right? Well, maybe don't post the leaks if you're not sure. We also had the Tuxedo Cat reveal. No one's really talking about this, but I think it's a great set. It looks really well sculpted, which I think it had to be. So it's great to see that level of sculpture come to the ideas team. But I don't know who's asking for it, really. I think it's very, very impressive, but I just don't care. I'm not a cat lover, so there we go. With the Mona Lisa, which a lot of people have hated on, but I think is quite fun. I also really like the sculpting here. The angled work with the wedge plates and the shading is really quite beautiful, and the background looks great as well. Yes, some people could argue it looks horrific, but I actually think it's a perfect translation to the Lego form. It is interesting to me that this set was supposed to come out same time as Notre Dame, but it was delayed till October because of a production error with gold lacquered parts. That's interesting to me. I find that curious. So that's very, very, it's going to be an interesting story, I feel. But beautiful. I think it's really stunning what they were able to do with the model like this. And it's so cheap as well, which is great. Speaking of that, we have Notre Dame. I haven't worked out my feelings towards this set. I think it is beautifully detailed and very, very dense, but still feels a little, I don't know, small, basic in some regards. Like, I don't know, it feels heinous to have these problems with it. I also still don't know how we feel about the whole like religious building thing. Like, I know it's probably most people feel it's about time, and this is very much focusing on the architecture side of it. But I don't know, it feels like just another bit of a what are we doing? But the build process looks great. It isn't undeniably an architecturally impressive building, and it's well timed with the reopening. I hear that it might be in scale with Eiffel Tower as well, which is great. But I don't know, it's separate to all the potential controversy. I just can't feel that something's a little off. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm used to the slightly larger scales of stuff like the Big Ben, but I feel like this would have been benefited from being not architecture. But then again, I guess that defeats the point of it existing. I don't know, mixed feelings. I won't be buying it regardless, but I think I hope the building experience is great because it just looks very small. I think I prefer Hamaji from last year. Moving into Marvel, we have a couple here that catch my eye. This, of course, being the Iron Man and versus Iron Legion Hydra Soldier set. This was another one the leaks were wrong on. This was supposed to be Iron Legion versus Ultron, so that would have been cooler. This build is great. This should not be £20, $20 though. I want this because I think the Iron Legion soldiers look great, and I love this like silly small scale battle pack build. I love silly small scale battle pack builds. They're great. I love them, and this is perfect. But man, this is like a 10-minute build, and it's just not worth 20. So on sale, I'll absolutely be picking this up because I do love the Iron Legion, and I hopefully one day I'll get to fight them off against a real Ultron army, which is what I'm really wanting for, not these Hydra soldiers. But man, it's overpriced, overpriced. But I definitely want the Leviathan versus Avengers. This is great to see the Leviathan make its way out of Avengers Tower. Great to expand your Avengers Tower if you already have it, although maybe not so much on the minifigures. I'm curious about these new capes. Again, I hope fabric capes don't get replaced, but I am excited to see this new development. I think this works better for certain characters. Figure lineup here is great for me because I don't have any of these guys. The Chitauri and the Leviathan look great. I kind of wish a Chariot was included, would have justified it. Got the big fig price as well. Again, I think we just found out prices for this one as of the time of recording. So let me check. 45 here in the UK, so same price as Botanicals for 347 pieces. Yeah, a little rough. Again, maybe 10%. I wouldn't take much of a discount to get me in on that. I think bring that down into the 30s and I'd be fine. Feels very similar value to the Hulkbuster that released 2 years ago. But yeah, no, great set. I'm glad it exists. But again, when you're still choosing between like that and Avengers Tower, like stuff starts to weigh up differently because you're like, well, if I'm going to pay nearly 50 for this, I might as well just and get some of those figures. I might as well just save that full exclusive experience for there and get one anyway. Like it seems like a weird decision to be considering, but yeah, it's a little bizarre. We also had the Age of Ultron like assemble thing here, and I really love how they've been able to capture that really iconic moment. I think that's really special. Look, we're jumping over the truck. I think it's really creative too. I really like the posing here, and to get everyone, of course, is very neat. Build's probably not very playable, but I suppose it's not really trying to be. Tree builds look great, bunker builds look great. Part count's a little low, but then again we got a big fig. But value feels alright here actually. I'd be comfortable with the value. Was it 89? Yeah, 89. Okay, cool. I'd pay 89 for that. And those are the decisions you have to ask yourself. Looking over to Harry Potter, we have the Mandrake, which, again, I've been begging for more licensed botanicals. I don't know who's next, but more of these licensed flowers. You know, I'll take Zelda flowers, I'll take Pikmin flowers, I'll take the Piranha Plant was amazing. We love the Piranha Plant, so can't wait to get the Mandrake and put him next to the Piranha Plant. This is another one that felt too expensive, though. I don't want to pay 60 for this. This is a sale item for sure, which probably means I won't actually get to buy it because it won't go on a sale at the right time for me. But I would like to have this one day. I think it looks like a great build and is a lot of fun to have on a shelf, although these are really quite bulky, so I don't know, it's going to take up a lot of space. With the Potions Classroom 2, which is a really fun 30 build, like I think it's, yeah, $34.99, again, £5 too expensive, but this is a great £30 set that I really like the new parts with the flasks and the explosions. The figure lineup's great with the Snape, but also just the fact that it combines and it's conclusive. Reminds me of what I love about the Harry Potter playset styles. Speaking of course, they have the Great Hall, which is obviously getting a lot of attention. I don't like the Cave Troll. I don't think it feels like a Lego Big Figure tool. I think they could have translated it certainly better. It's great that we're doing this super detailed thing, but I don't know how I feel about this Great Hall. I don't think it does what I want it to do for a playset. Great Hall, instead focusing too much on display, and I feel the interior of the Great Hall in particular was lacking. I prefer the 2021 version for a whole Hogwarts thing, although that also suffered from a weak Great Hall. 2018, of course, is one of the standard goes to, but I'm not huge. I'm not swooning over that either. 2011 one was also pretty good, but there is a lot of empty space in these Hogwarts Great Halls. I don't know, something about it's off. Figure lineup's great, of course, as well, and all the other sets in the wave get enough attention as it is, so I won't need to mention them. This midi scale Diagon Alley is doing the job. It's great to see variety from like expandable sets that aren't just Hogwarts, so it's good to keep this lineup going. Figures here is great, and of course we've got the dress piece, which can be used for Ocarina of Time Zelda, is a good use too. There's also this new wand element. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know why they felt the need to add a new wand element. I'm interested to see early reviews to work out what's going on there. We also had the Triwizard Tournament arrival, of course. Again, incredible, but not playable as much as I would hope. So it looks beautiful, but I don't know if it does the job it needs to. Oh, I forgot to talk about space. So, Series 26 has been getting a lot of flack, at least from people I know. No one seems to be a fan of this series, but I love this series. It's great. Obviously, the D&D series is hyping itself up to be really, really great. But we'll see. But I've really enjoyed this space series. I've bought way more than I thought I would, especially now that we can scan the codes on the boxes. Didn't care for the retro space heroine because I didn't really like the retro space guy, apart from the fact that they referenced him on that theme park ride set from 2021. The spacewalking astronaut is also just, it's great. It needed to be here because of modern space, but it's whatever. But all the others are delightfully fun. The alien tourist stands out. Imposter is quirky. Didn't end up buying him, but the alien tourist was great. We had the flying saucer costume fan, which looks adorable, and I really love the starry torso. I think that's a lot of fun. Robot Butler was fun as well, but nothing too special there. And Nurse Android is the one that's funny because everyone wants the space baby, and yeah, Nurse Android's just whatever. If I had a nickel for every time they've made me buy a babysitter trope character just to get a baby mold, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that's happened twice in Series 16's Babysitter and now here with the Nurse Android. But Orion is probably my favourite from the series, not just because of the transparent parts, but I just think it's a really cool idea, turning a constellation into a figure. Blacktron Mutant I don't care for because I am a Blacktron 1 fan, not a Blacktron 2 fan, but I did end up buying it because the Ice Planet Explorer won me over. So the Ice Planet Explorer, M-Tron Powerlifter and Blacktron Mutant sort of completed out my lineup this time. Because they were all just these wonderful souped up versions of retro characters, and I can't wait to put it with the Bounty Hunter from Series 19, because I think he's going to fit in really well as like an upgraded Blacktron. We have of course all the colours of Spacemen as well, so I'm really loving building up this like reduxed version of the classic space themes. But then again, medieval, I'm looking forward to that as well because I think that's going to be really exciting. I have to talk about all of the Monkey Kid sets. First up, the easiest one, the Power Team truck, the Thousand Eye Demon. The only reason I care about this set is the little like centipede thing he's on. That's so cute. That's adorable build. I really love that. It's really creative. Nine-Headed Beast does also look awesome, although not as cool as I was expecting. It does just look like an Ninjago set, which is not a bad thing. It looks like a great set, but it just doesn't have that unique flair that I've come to expect. With the Celestial Perioda, which of course everyone knows has this amazing color scheme, I'm very excited to see what they've done with the interior of this as well. And great figure lineup as well. Again, not quite as high as some of the other waves, I think, but I do really like the presence of this. It feels like a really strong tower. And then my favorite personally is Nez's Firing of Mech. I really enjoyed Nez's Ring from the other wave, but here just that vinyl piece is incredible, and the fact that they've got like this light lavender to work with the red and the teal is great, and then the wheels as well in the back. This is a lot of fun. It's a really unique mech that has something different to it, I think, which is of course really what we're looking for. Looking into City now, again, we have a couple here that stand out. I'm not too interested in talking about the construction sets. They're good for what they are. I want to talk about the harbour. I like the way that this harbour does both like commercial and then like a business side, like having this little crab shop here. This is one of my more enjoyable city sets because it actually has like a variety of city buildings. Like the docks look great, they're like raised up on this little edge with all these signs and stuff. It feels like a really lived in place, and it feels like a great addition to people's cities and lineups too. A lot of fun to be had with that crane and gantry and the boat. I would have liked if they included a truck as well, just so that you could link it in with the rest of your cargo terminal, or if there was a cargo terminal like set in your wave so that you could like bring the truck up and then like put stuff on the truck and drive it away as well, which would have been an addition. But I realized that in saying that, it probably would have come at the cost of that building, and I love having the building here more because it makes it truly feel like a real lived-in world. Robot World is also catching a lot of attention. This is another really creative roller coaster set. Been enjoying the creative 3-in-1 ones, but not as much as like the Creative Expert one. This is probably outdoing both the 2018 Pirate Roller Coaster and the 2023 even Space Roller Coaster. Oh, my years are getting mixed up. I don't necessarily care that the Exoforce mech is here. It's cool that it is here, but I don't necessarily care about it. Figure selection is okay, but the roller coaster track and the room around the back is what really sells it. It's a fun set for kids, for sure. I was expecting to be more excited about the jungle lineup. Specifically with the return of upgraded Johnny Thunder, I'll definitely have to pick this figure up, because while I prefer the 2019 one as far as like a remake goes, I want to have this like new wave, because they've obviously redone all 3 of the figures recently. But I don't know if it's worth just buying the ATV set, because I really don't love the ATV build. Like, it might get to a point where I buy the ATV on sale to get the figure and get the red panda, because I don't really care. Like, that build on the side is like 7 pieces. Like, it's great that it's here and it's good that it connects to the others, but it's a little pathetic. I hope that the map print with the volcano is hinting that we're going back to Volcano Explorers, because I loved that sub-theme in 2016, but this ATV is truly nothing special outside of Johnny Thunder's appearance. He does also appear in another set, which is the Tiger set, which has a much better and more substantial nature build, and a truck that looks cool, but again, it just feels a little simple. Color scheme's okay. It's very similar to the Ocean theme from 2 years ago, which is, yeah, it's fine. It makes it all consistent. This is using dark blue instead. But yeah, figures here are fine. The plane, the crocodiles are cool, but again, doesn't interest me. The vehicles just don't have something special to them, or maybe I've just been around too many years. I do want to point out that getting 2 gorillas in the exploration helicopter is very, very cool. And also the recolor of the peach piece into light yellow is clearly a shock fruit from Tears of the Kingdom, so I'll be picking up that piece on Bricklink as well. Let's talk about Minecraft, though. Not too much to say this time around. Pretty standard. The camel looks good. Cherry Blossom Gardens has a lot of potential, but I feel it's too expensive and doesn't include enough variety. It very much feels like they've just shoved a lot of stuff in the new update in one set, whereas I prefer when they split it across all the waves. The lack of sniffer nose on the baby sniffer is atrocious. I do love the sniffing play feature. That's rather inspired, but I don't know, it's not really doing it for me, and the cherry trees just don't feel even like to Lego Minecraft standards. I have no feel. The only other ones I want to talk about is the Badlands Adventure, Mineshaft, whatever it's called. Geode looks great. This is a fine set. This is perfectly suitable. It's great to see it, but I can't help comparing it to the Creeper Mine from 2019, which I feel did a slightly better job, but great set nonetheless. The one that I was excited for going into this wave, and I'm still excited about, is the End Dragon and End Ship. Now, we have mixed thoughts here, because this set definitely delivers. The price here in UK is all right, coming in at 70. Now, I won't buy it for 70 because I need that sale, because I love the ship. I know it was going to be blocky. I love this location specifically from the games. And I think it's translated about as well as it could have, but because of that, it does just feel very simplistic. I think part of it comes down to the amount of studs showing on that mast. I feel like that is what's hurting it for me. I love that we get an Enderman. I love that we're pairing this with the Ender Dragon, because otherwise I think it'd be even harder to justify the End Ship, because the Dragon is stealing the show. It was perfect. The head mold works so well. We're still maintaining the stud shooter feature, and the wings look great. Absolutely best dragon. So glad I didn't pick up one of the older ones. And then the fact that the dragon head goes on a player skin, perfect. We get an Enderman and a Shulker as well. The Shulker is the big swing point for me. I'm so glad that it finally came in a good set. This set is good. I just want £10 off to make me feel happier about buying like a really low resolution build, which I get is the point, but there's just too many studs showing, and the interior is empty. Although I do love that there's an item frame to put the elytra up and a brewing stand as well. But yeah, I feel like I want more, given how simple the parts are. Although I'm so glad to finally be getting an End Dragon. Like, oh, definitely buy it. Definitely, it's on my list. Back to Ninjago, we had the Source Dragon of Motion, biggest dragon ever. I like the little fly things that are going around it, and like the fact that they've perched the Gong of Shattering on the top. It feels very much like a hunted set in that regard. I don't love the head on this one. Body looks great, but I don't feel it's as exciting as some of the other dragons. Like, I don't think I needed biggest dragon ever to like make a dragon cool. I prefer the Heatwave Liver Dragon and the Jungle Dragon from back when we were doing Island. I'm starting to feel that makes me feel old. That's like back in 2020, 2021, which I can't believe is saying 3 years ago. That's all I really have to say about Ninjago sets. Let's talk about Friends then, because this is another great theme this year. Again, this was one where rumours were slightly misleading, because they talked about it like the adventure camp was going to be like a castle, like medieval themed stuff, because of the Castle Bed and Breakfast getting misnamed. So Castle Bed and Breakfast, let's start there. Perfect. It's £10 more expensive than the Botanical Gardens from last year, and I feel it should have been the same price as the Botanical Gardens. That being said, I will buy it because it looks gorgeous. Interior is a little cramped. but I do love how it looks. It's truly beautiful. So many people are going to try and put this thing in their city. I don't think it belongs in a city. I think it belongs on its own. It's like an old house on a hill. Really love the inspiration they've taken for that. It's truly fantastic. Similarly, I also love like the Atlantis vibes of the water park too. Not as good as the other water park from 2019, but it's still fantastic. Adventure stuff is all cool. My standout to me is the archery camp. I just think it's a sweet set that's got a nice build play feature where you have like the target which you can move backwards, which is cool. I also love that we're using the flickfire bow more. I love this piece. I think it deserves to exist, and I'm glad that we're getting the arrows recolored in yellow for shock arrows as well. So fun to see this target where you can actually adjust the difficulty for yourself by putting it in the different places. Makes me imagine what like a Lego Friends golf course would look like. That'd be interesting. And the City Cafe also looks great. I love the colour scheme. It's so outlandish, but it looks great. But again, just reminds me of the floors of mini dolls as well. They look great. He's just sitting on the floor. Like, what's going on there? The interior is great on that one, though. The fantastic sets. Yeah, not quite strong as last year's wave, but still amazing. Castle Bed and Breakfast in particular is just another standout. They just kill it every single year. We've got more Brickheads. Again, an inside-out pack with Joy, Sandes and Anxiety. And if you remember from 30 minutes ago when I was talking about this set, I wish it was the original cast. I know I probably won't care once I see the movie, and I'll like the new ones as well, but I just like the original cast so much more. That movie's so special. So it would have been great to have like a 5-pack of just the mains. I know we're marketing a new movie, but you could have done Anxiety on their own or something as well. We also have Legolas and Gimli. Great to be getting more fellowships. I don't know how I feel about. I mean, it makes sense. They all need to exist in Brickhead form, but like, do I regret getting into it? No, those Brickheads are fantastic, but like now I'm just thinking, they're going to go through all of them. So we've got like a Sam coming. We've got like probably a Boromir coming, and like Merry and Pippin. Like, I kind of hope they just get it out of the way and do them all at once, and do them in like a big pack, just so that I don't have to keep like waiting year on year. But maybe I'm being a little cynical there. We also have the Lion King Simba set. Looks great. Sculpt is fantastic. Glad we're getting more of these. I don't know. I wanted this one to happen. I hope that Donald never happens, because it's a little weird if we get Donald without Daisy or Goofy, Like, I hope that this is good because it's different. It's animation. We're celebrating Lion King, and it's really well sculpted. But I hope that Donald gets cancelled. And then last couple of sets, of course, with the Jurassic World sets too. Baby Bumpy is adorable. Won't be buying it, but looks adorable. And I'm so glad that we finally got a Stegosaurus as well. Although I was expecting the shapes on the back to be a little bit more even and rounded, more like a leaf shape rather than this spike. Still looks amazing, but again, the set's not really doing it for me. But that's fine. Not everything has to be for me. That's all the sets that have currently been revealed. I'm sure there's more coming. We're getting new set reveals all the time. One thing I've noticed this year is that there's definitely still sets I want, but none of them are like top level priority, in my opinion. Like, when I look at what I'm most eager to buy now, obviously Barad-dûr is the exception. Barad-dûr is a June 1st build with its promo, like directly away. But Barad-dûr would have been like my big buy for the year, and I would have done it at the end of the year, Black Friday, but of course because of the Fell Beast we're moving it forward. But when I'm looking forward to what else is like on my list, what do I want right now? It's skewing like to a lot of like sets that are more closer to retirement. Now I'm still really keen to finish my modular collection, so like Natural History Museum and Lion Knight's Castle was a set that I've let get way too close to retirement. The Ore is amazing. Pac-Man Arcade. Bowser Train Express, I suppose, made it up there, but I've still got to go back and get the 2021 Hogwarts Chamber of Secrets, which I need a sale for as well, by the way. That set was too expensive. Boarding Attentive, The Auspicious Dragon, which I'm scared of letting get to retirement. With Lion Knight's Castle, I was kind of want the Medieval Town Square and the Flower Bouquets. All great sets. And it isn't until, my ranking list drops to like a 2, and you start seeing stuff like the End Dragon ship below the Loop Coaster and Castle Bed and Breakfast, which feels like it shouldn't be as strong. Double-decker sightseeing bus. But you also start seeing more sets that are retired, like the Emperor's Throne Room Diorama. I know that isn't retired yet, but it's close. Right, you start seeing these different sets that the new sets are competing with that maybe you wouldn't have expected. And it's like, well, I would prefer to buy a retired copy of the Brick Bank over say Nook's Cranny or something, like older sets are currently drawing me more, I guess. So I don't know, the year doesn't feel weak by any means. It feels like a very, very strong year, and there's definitely new sets still on the horizon that we haven't seen. And there's I'm quite excited about that Endeavour rumor for the Antarctic ship. I think that could look stunning. But yeah, I guess right now I'm in the saving spree because Barradur looks incredible, and I am ready to add that to my collection for sure. But yeah, this has been a very, very long video. I don't know, feeling a little mixed after the summer wave. Some great stuff, but everything feels a little pricey this time. But it's okay. It's okay. We got plenty to keep me interested for now. And of course, who could forget? Of course, the Decatry coming in September. I think that's why it was throwing me off. Is it just feels weird. Feels weird knowing that's finally coming. And parts orders too. You know, got to keep buying pieces and retired sets. Gonna be getting some looking into some different avenues. Anyway, I'll stop rambling. Let me know what your favourite sets are from the summer, of course, and what you'll be picking up or what you won't be picking up. I don't know. Feels more mixed than normal, which, yeah, we have some off waves from now and again. But and I will see you in the end of this year for another one of these, and I'll see you next week for another custom set. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye bye.